With Genshin Impact version 2.4 just around the corner, I thought it would be fun to take a look at all of the events that we've been given thus far and rank them on a tier list, because tier lists are fun. So I'll be ranking all of the in-game events. I won't be ranking web events and stuff like that, just because I want to try to keep this as an in-game event list. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I'll go chronologically, and with that, we're going to start off with the first event that we were given in Genshin Impact, the Elemental Crucible event. This is probably the worst event we've ever been given in Genshin, if I'm going to be speaking frankly. This event was just, this event was bad. So for those players who didn't get to experience this, basically what happened is you had to spend 40 resin to activate this Crucible, fight co-op, and just gain the rewards. You could still fight the Crucible without using the resin, but I don't think would get the rewards like at all, which sucked. And especially when the resin cap was 120, it was just bad. You could only do it like 3 times a day. And even though you didn't need to farm artifacts because most players were like AR 20, it still wasn't good. They could have been using it to get talent books or like level up books and Mora stuff that they could actually use. Now, I might be cheating a little bit, but there's 2 that I want to include in this before we kick off a little bit further, and that's going to be the Stellar Reunion and none other than the good old daily login stuff. So I want to include these ones right here because even though they're not events, I think there's something that's just a lot of fun and really good, especially Stellar Reunion, because when you take a big hiatus from the game, it incentivizes you to come back because it gives you a bunch of materials that you can use to level up characters, give them a weapon and something like that. It's a lot of fun. And the daily login stuff gives you wishes, gives you materials. You can't really go wrong with that. And next up, we have the Marvelous Merchandise event. So they've done a bunch of these, and they're all pretty much the same. And I'm going to put them in the okay category. This doesn't mean they're bad. This just means that they're like, you know, there's no gameplay really to it. You pretty much just sit there and give Lieben the materials, and he goes, all right, here's a box, open it, have fun. And it's good, gives you primos. Like, I think they usually give around, like, 200 something, 300 primos, which is good. Definitely a big fan of that. It's like 1 for every element. So it's like, what is it? That's 280 primos, if my math is correct. Like 40 primos per time. So it's good. I like it. You know, inoffensive, bring it back. And now we're entering in the first pop-off event that MiHoYo ever did, and that is the Unreconciled Stars event. This introduced Mona and Fischl in a story. This introduced Scaramouche, which was amazing that he's been brought back and made more relevant. This was a lot of fun. The gameplay was pretty fun as well. You had to go around these meteorites and like get the crystals and kill a bunch of enemies. You had to do it co-op, I believe. You could also do it single player, I think. Co-op was more fun and a bit easier. This was just a really good event. It had good story, good moments, good dialogue, and good gameplay. Now, next up we have the Gliding Challenge. Again, another okay event. Gliding can get a little bit weird sometimes, especially if you're playing on mobile, which I play on PC, mobile, and sometimes I'll play on my PS5. So it's like, it's fine. I think it's definitely better on controller, at least for my personal preference, but on mobile, it's kind of just a nightmare. So this event is fine, depending on the console or the system you're playing on. The one that came right around that same time as well, the While It's Warm event. This event I hated so much. You had these ridiculous limitations while you were delivering the food, like, hey, give this food to someone, but you can't get wet at all during the event, and it was just bad because they'd be right next to a river, and then Paimon would be like, oh, we have to go get new food. Or if you took damage or you used your glider, it sucked. It was an okay event, but like not fun at all and just dumb. The fact that they haven't done anything similar to it means that I think they understood their faults. However, they quickly redeemed themselves when they brought in the good old, what's it officially called? The Chalk Prince and the Dragon event. Again, this is another story-based event that had a bunch of different gameplay things, but since it was just so good overall, I'm just going to consider it, you know, one event. This was amazing. It was the first time that we were really introduced to Albedo, the first time we were introduced to Dragon Spine, and we got one of the best weapons that was given through an event, just overall. And it was so much fun. The gameplay was awesome. You could do great co-op stuff. You got good weapons. You got good rewards. And it had you exploring a new area, which is always fun. Following that, we have the, where's the little icon? There we go. We have the Lost Riches event. I'm gonna put this one in very meh. The rewards are kind of cool. You know, you get the little Sealy that follows you around and makes funny noises. They did it again in Inazuma where you could get a purple one, so I'm pretty sure that in Sumeru we're gonna get a green one for Dendro. And this is fun. You know, I like this one, but you know, the gameplay's really boring. You just go around these different areas and dig up iron chunks and sigils and whatnot, so the gameplay is really boring and repetitive. But it gives you fine rewards, and these Sealies are fun and cute, so I don't know, just it's fine. You know, if they bring that back, I'm assuming. I kind of don't remember this one, to be completely honest, but the next one is the Hypostatic Symphony, where you had to, like, fight all these different variants of the cubes. I think this one is, like, pretty good. Because of what it's set, you know, the idea of, oh, hey, you're fighting these overworld enemies, but in, like, a different light. So they have different attacks, they have different moves and different limitations, which I think is really fun. And they've started to use that sort of design in a lot of other events. And I like it, because I'm big in the combat in this game. So having different combat options is a lot of fun. Another event that was kind of not fun was the what's it called? The 5 Flushes of Fortune. I'm gonna just go ahead and put that in Please Never Again, because it gave you the camera as the main reward, which, I mean, you don't really need to use the camera because you have the in-game one that can do the same thing, so I don't know why you would need to use that. The actual gameplay, you had to go and take these pictures of things, if I remember correctly, and the colors were never right. You'd say, oh, well, that thing looks yellow, and they're like, nope, that's blue. And you're like, how does that even make sense? So this one was fine. Again, Primos, so yay, but I want a little bit more involved gameplay and a device that actually makes sense. I don't know, maybe that's just me. So then next comes my biggest sin as a Genshin Impact player. Lantern Rite, I never actually played. At least not fully, so I know, but regardless, some of the best stuff they ever did. I took a pretty decent break from Genshin Impact around this time when it came out, like in February of 2020, or actually 2021, that was this year. And this event was really cool for the little bit that I saw. I still have like 3 Shao Lanterns because I did catch it like at the very end of the event. It was really cool and did a lot of cultural stuff for Liyue and just had some character interactions that were a lot of fun. And they had an event in it that gave you a free 4-star character, which, considering that you could get Xingqiu, who's one of the best 4-star characters in the game, along with, I think, Beidou, incredible. However, they did introduce something in here that I didn't really like, which is the Theater Mechanicus event. I have to say, I'm not a big fan of this one. It's Bloons tower defense for Genshin, but it's incredibly boring in my eyes. Like, you can't really do anything. Like, if you have Geo characters that have constructs, then you can use it to block enemies, which makes it a bit easier to take them out. I don't know, it's pretty repetitive and kind of boring in my opinion, though if they bring it back, I might play it, though I didn't finish it the other time they brought it around, so I don't know. Now, this one might be controversial, but the Leyline Overflow event, some of the best stuff they've ever done in Genshin. I know it's not really like an event, you know, it's not like, oh, hey, let's go find another Fatui Harbinger or something, but these events, they need to do so much more of. And they did a second one with talent books that I'm going to get to once it pops up in the chronological order. But you can get like 360,000 Mora once you're at, I think it's world level 7, that's when it starts, or world level 8. You can get 360,000 Mora every single day for a week. So that's over 2 million more that you can get, which it cannot honestly go understated because that's incredible. And you can also just get level up books, which depending on how much you're doing like mainline quests or whatnot, you're probably going to have none of. The Vishaps and Where to Find Them event. I didn't actually do this one, but I did do the Spectre one in Inazuma, which is the exact same thing. And this one was okay. It got you doing expeditions with characters, and you know, you can still use them even when they're on the expedition, so it's fine. It gets you getting some primos and has a little bit more involved gameplay because you have to like complete certain like B and A ranked missions before you could do S ranked ones, and you have to go fight some enemies, so they're fine. I guarantee we're gonna have one in Sumeru when that comes out, and we're gonna have to go fight, I don't know, Geo Abyss Mages or whatever they're going to come out with next with the Dendro Abyss Mages. Lord help me. And keeping with the theme, this should come to a surprise to absolutely no one. We have the Windbloom Festival. This is basically Lantern Rite for Mondstadt. It's their big cultural thing, and it's just amazing. I have it all as just one event because I think everything that was in it was a lot of fun. The Peculiar Wonderland was amazing. The archery stuff was still pretty fun. It was very involved. I think they do the I don't think they did like the Theater Mechanicus event during this. I don't think they did. But this was just really good. Great character moments, great story stuff, great just interactions overall, and the gameplay was top notch. This was really fun. I very much loved this. After that, we were introduced to the Contending Tides event, which is basically like the new, like, oh, hey, there's waves of enemies that you have to go fight, and they get progressively harder and all that stuff. This one, again, I'm only including the first iteration for these, like, repetitive events. This one, they're fun. I like when they introduce them because, you know, combat, it's pretty good, waves of enemies, and it gets you possibly even building different teams with different buffs that you can put on. So it's fun. It gives a little bit of flavor and some nice rewards. Another event that gave some flavor and some much needed life to previously boring enemies was the Wishful Drops event. This had you taking around this little basically mini Oceanid to these different areas, fighting enemies, and fighting the new and improved Oceanid that had a lot of different movesets. So some new unique playstyles that had you actually fighting it and taking it out instead of just defeating its mimics and then, I don't know, killing it by making it cry that it lost its friends. I don't really even know. This one was fun, and they definitely brought back the enhanced Oceanid in different events. The Energy Amplifier, another one that's on the same vein as this, just combat. It's good. It gives your characters different buffs. You can have limitations or enemy buffs that can make the combat more interesting. I like them. They have one running right now at the time of this recording, and it's fun. I like it. Now, even though that I said that I'm pretty big in the combat in this game and like the popped off stuff is like with story and other things, this one is a little bit of an outlier. The Wind Trace event. This is one of the most fun things that Genshin's ever done. It's basically hide and seek mixed with prop hunt, or it's basically just prop hunt. It's so much fun. Like, you just hide around as different characters, and you just try not to get caught. Though it's really easy for the catcher to catch you, especially if they're running around with like Zhongli or now Ito, who are like really fast characters, or even like Mona or Ayaka. But this is a lot of fun. Definitely some fun co-op moments, and it gets you doing co-op stuff that's not just based around combat. The Battlefront Misty Dungeon event came like right after that, around that same time. This one's fine. I like it. I like the dungeon aspect in Genshin. And they have the trial characters, which is, I think, what saves this, because if they just had it like, hey, go take out these trials with your previously built party, it would be kind of boring. But they have these different ones, and they have the new one that they came out with, where it's like you had to do different reactions, which was fun. They could probably do a bit more with this, but for what it is now, I like it. Then right after that, they had the Mimi Tomo event. This one was fine. It's inoffensive. It got you actually finding and seeing the unusual hilly trolls, which I don't know if they increased the spawn rate like after this event. But in the past month, I found 2, and I never found them before, so I don't know. They're pretty cool, but one of the most annoying things about the event was when you would go to the event screen to check out the shop or whatnot, the unusual hilly troll would just go girly the whole time, and it was so annoying. Like, I have nightmares of that noise. So this is the event that I wanted to talk about, the Overflowing Mastery. Basically the leyline overflow, but for the talent books. And I think they've only done this one other time, which is a crime. This, in my opinion, this might be a hot take, these 2 events should be done monthly. Like, you know, they start off the month with the talent book, or with the leyline ones, and then like 2 weeks later they do the talent book domain. Like, they need to do that so much more, because it helps out players so much that don't spend money with this game. Which I know they want to make money on the game, but like, seriously, make this a monthly thing. And then again, to a surprise to absolutely no one as well, the Golden Apple Archipelago event. Possibly the best event they ever did with Genshin. We had a whole new area to explore that was temporary, so it was a little bit unfortunate for players who missed it. We got introduced to the skins mechanic with Barbara and Jean that's now being seen with Ningguang and Keqing, which is awesome. Love it. The lore was surprisingly good for it. The character interactions were some of the best we got. Just really fun event. However, there were some mini events that I didn't really care for, like the go and take out the island goobers, go and ride your boat, the Magu Kenki, the Harpastum. These ones were just kind of okay in my mind. I don't want to spend too much time on them. It did suck with the Magu Kenki, because if you didn't have Kazuha, there was literally no reason for you to keep doing it. The Legend of Vagabond Sword, another tough combat one. Really liked it. It had different variants of enemies. I think this is where we were first introduced to the triple Magu Kenki that's in the current Abyss right now. This is a lot of fun. I like the difficult combat, and we have the enhanced Oceanid from the Wishful Drops event, or whatever it was called. So big props, very much like this one. Now these last two Golden Apple events, unfortunately left a little bit of a sour Golden Apple taste in my mouth. This one was just kind of boring. You had to fire the bombs back at the machine. It was just kind of eh. And then we had this one, which, oh my gosh, I hated this event. Now, I don't know if you guys even remember this one, but basically what you had to do is you had this meter on top that like increased your attack or energy recharge or something, and you had to keep it up if you wanted to actually be able to deal good damage to the enemies. But what you had to do is you had to take the Harpastum bombs and shoot them at the targets. I don't think you could knock it out with a bow. You might have. If that's the case, then I'm just an idiot. But this event was just so annoying because you'd get like 4 Ruin Graders just trying to like punch your ass, and then all of a sudden you have to just like, oh, I gotta take out my bomb and shoot the target. It just got annoying. And then next we had our first ever Inazuma event. This is another one that had a bunch of different mini events in it, and it's the Thunder Sojourn event. I like this one. Got us exploring Inazuma, or like honestly, it just got us exploring the main area. I'm honestly blanking on the name right now. It got us exploring like the first island, which was fun. I think you could explore the other 3 as well, or the other 2 as well. I'm honestly, I don't really remember, but it was nice, and I think it gave you Beto for free, which she's one of the best 4-star DPSs. So, you know, do with that what you will. The next we have the Automaton event. This is kind of like the Wishful Drops event, where it's like you fought the enhanced version, but this one was fine. I don't really remember it being that much fun, considering that I forgot that it was actually an event. So it was fine. You know, get some primos, get some level up stuff, so it was alright. And then one of the best combat events we've ever been given in Genshin, the Hyakunin Iki. I loved this event so much. You took teams of 2, and you fought in a domain, but then once their time was up, then they would only deal like 20 damage, so there was no point in keeping them out, so you'd have to switch out your teams, which got you like understanding team cores, like, you know, the 2-element team cores, and it was just a lot of fun. A good combat, and a lot of enemies that were easy to beat instead of just, you know, taking out a 3 million HP boss. So it was fun. Then right after that, we had the fishing event, which the gameplay of this one admittedly was kind of boring. The fishing is fine in the game. However, one of the reasons why it's ranked so high is because the fact that you get the catch, which is one of the best weapons that was given in an event at all. Like, seriously, this thing is absolutely busted. In fact, I don't actually have the catch because I just didn't want to do the fishing. But I'm currently trying to get it right now for my Zhongling. Because I'm running her on Dragon's Bane right now, which is really good, but I don't have like any energy recharge. So I'm like, yeah, let's just start catching some fish. And then next up, we have Moon Chase Tales. Again, another popped off. Such a good event. The only thing that sucked is that you had the Moon Chase charms, which were supposedly just supposed to be a placeholder for like the Dendroculus, for Sumeru when they exist. But you couldn't do anything with them. Like, you couldn't even trade them in for Mora or anything. So they were just useless. Like, heck, just let me trade in all of the Moon Chase charms for like 100,000 Mora or something. Like, give us anything, but you couldn't do anything, which kind of sucked. But we got great stuff. We got the introduction of Shinyan into the main story. We got some other great character moments, and we found out that Guoba is a literal god. So props to MiHoYo. Now, apparently, right around this time, like right before the Ancient Zither event, supposedly there was something with Aloy. But I don't think she was on PC at the time, so it might have been a PlayStation only thing, or it was a web event, but I have no idea. I've never heard anyone talk about this event, so I have no idea, so I can't speak on that, but I assume, considering that Aloy is like the worst 5-star character in the game, that it was okay, and she doesn't even have a voice actress, so who knows. And then anyway, we have the Ancient Zither event. So I'm a musician myself, and there are definitely some problems with these music events. Like, sometimes they just don't match up correctly with how actual music goes. But I like the idea of it, so I'm gonna put it in pretty good. I liked it this time around too, because you were playing the Zither, and then like an NPC, or not an NPC, but like you know, a main character was playing the harp next to it, so like Zhongli was there, you'd play with Xiao, and they were fun. I liked it. I like it when they introduce the actual playable characters inside of events, because they don't decide to give us opportunities to visit the characters in the open world, so this is about as good as we're gonna get. And then next up, arguably the best combat event we were ever given, the Labyrinth Warriors. This one was a lot of fun. Admittedly, I didn't really pay attention to the story of this one, though it seemed like kind of interesting. The little doll was made by some dude that did things I honestly, God, don't remember. But hey, more Xinyan representation, which is awesome, and a child existing just so we could have an excuse to rerun him for the 40th time. But it was fun. I liked this. I liked the dungeon aspect, and I hope they do more of it for endgame content, because honestly, Spiral Abyss is kind of just getting boring. Like, I like it. It's still fun. Like, I just recently 36 started, which this one was really hard. So it's nice being able to do that, and it still is challenging, but I'd like something else instead of just that. After that, we had Shadow of the Ancients, another okay event. Honestly, I'm gonna put this one in very meh. It didn't really do anything for me. It was fine, but you had to go do things with, like, you had to charge up the things with Electro characters and make sure they were maintained, and you had to recharge them, which it was fine. But I don't know, just got kind of boring in my opinion. But fighting the Ruin Grader was always fun, but it was fairly easy to take out. And then we have the Flower event. I feel so bad because I feel like I'm being really harsh on this event, but I don't want to see something like this again. Now, I want to see them doing more events that have focus on the teapot, because admittedly, I don't use it at all, because as I said, I play Genshin primarily for, like, pulling the characters and combat and, like, building optimal builds, because I find that fun. But I also do like the slice of life stuff, if you will. Like, it's really fun doing the teapot stuff. I just don't use it at all, because it's like, I have to spend my time doing, like, artifact grinding and like optimizing combat and whatnot, and it's like I should take more time to be a little bit more casual and a little bit more, like, aesthetic with the game, but this event just didn't help with that. You just grew flowers and got money, and there was, like, nothing to it. So I don't know, do something more interesting with the teapot, and it'll be more fun. And then the last two events that we've had at this point of recording, again, should come to a surprise to absolutely no one. The what's the official name of this? I gotta go find that. The Shadow Amidst Snowstorms. This event was amazing. So when I brought up that the previous Dragonspine event gave us the best overall like weapon from an event, this one gave arguably the best weapon, specifically for Albedo, which I pulled Albedo right around this time, but again, I took a break and I didn't really want to use a Geo character. But now that Geo is basically the meta, I have my Albedo built with this weapon, R5, level 90, and it's amazing. It's so good. And, when you level up the weapon, it gives you like 1.5 times XP, so it costs less to use it, which is just amazing. And this event was awesome. Great story stuff, great character interactions, bringing Amber back into the spotlight, which is, we always love to see it, bringing Bennett into the story, which is awesome, and doing more stuff with Albedo and his confusing lore. And last but not least, we have the good old doggy event. I'm torn between where I want to put this. It's either pretty good or okay. I'm gonna put it here just because it was kind of cute seeing the dogs and going and chasing them. The item that you get afterwards, like, if you're a big teapot player, then you'll probably like the item that it gives you. You can capture the doves. You can steal Timmy's pigeons. It's fine, but if you don't play like that, then it does get kind of boring. The combat though with the dude in the little shack, I wish they would have kept that. I don't know why they didn't. Like, they should have made that like a a permanent thing, like how they have Masanori in Inazuma. They should have kept this as like a training dummy so you can test out builds. I don't know why they didn't. I don't know. This is a lot of fun though. Maybe they did, and I just need to go check it. But this is a lot of fun. I liked fighting Mr. Dog. He was fun. So yeah, that about does it for my my tier list of all Genshin Impact in-game events that we have been given thus far. I am a big fan of the events that we've been given in the game. Definitely love these ones, the big story ones. The combat ones and all the other ones are great. I can't wait to see what they're going to do in 2.4 because it already looks crazy with the characters, the gameplay, and I cannot wait to explore Enkanomiya. That place looks... I'm going to make a bold call. I'm going to say it's going to be the coolest region in Genshin Impact to date. But hey, I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes. But who knows? Maybe I'll make a tier list on areas in Genshin Impact to explore. But anyway, thank you for stopping by. Do you agree with this tier list? If not, flame me in the comments and tell me how stupid I am. But with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Have a good rest of your day.